All right, welcome, kings and queens. We're back, y'all. We are talking Diddy, all things Diddy. It is week 4, day 15 in the Diddy federal trial. However, it's my second day today, Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Listen, let's just get right into it. Man, it is such an experience to be on site compared to just kind of tuning in virtually. No shade. It's completely different. You can feel the raw emotion in the courtroom. You can see, hear, feel, smell, look, see facial expressions, and we got a lot of shit to talk about. Pardon my language, we have a lot to talk about. I came in yesterday and some of you did not like my commentary because I think all of us, I get it. I get it. It's very disturbing. Some of these things that are coming out in the testimony, some of the details, and you automatically, you go in and we can all be biased, including myself. Hell, I'm biased, but I told myself, listen, girl, if you're here on site, at least have an open mind. And because I had an open mind and I'm listening to the testimony of the eyewitness, y'all, the key witnesses on the stand, some of you didn't like it. Well, guess what? We just gonna keep going. We gonna keep doing it, okay? It ain't personal. Just let me do my thing. Pull up and let's talk about it, y'all. Today, the security guard. So, one of the security guards that worked for the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles took the stand. And when I tell you he flipped this thing upside down, he flipped the house. Yesterday, I felt like Diddy just may walk away free. Today, I was like, damn, they may hit him with them damn RICO charges because this is explosive. And when I tell you the boy, when I say boy, I'm not trying to be offensive, but when the boy sat up there, he was able to clearly articulate everything that happened, details, times, when, how, where, descriptions. I'm talking about, listen, I knew he was being as forthcoming as he could. I did not feel like he was lying, and Diddy just may be going to jail. Okay, again. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to listen, I'm tired. Specific to reality television. But most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
Now, look, before I get into it, today was like the damn Wild Wild West in that courtroom. Baby, when I tell you it was so much stuff going on, from outbursts, y'all, they had to physically remove a woman from the courtroom. And when I tell you she came outside and she was arguing and getting into it with YouTube bloggers, it was a mess. And I really thought that lady, man, listen, I thought the worst was about to happen, but thank God everybody's okay. We were able to move on from that. Now, let's get into the Diddy of it all. And probably what I'll do is when I do the Diddy commentary, what I'll do is I'll kind of walk you down with what he has on so that you can kind of get a great visual painted in your imagination as if you're there with me in a courtroom. So Diddy walks out today. And today he had on he was wearing a nice, very light brown sweater. And when I say light, not light brown, but just light, not a heavy sweater. It was a light sweater. You can tell it's good quality. And it was the color of coffee, of a coffee with a little bit of cream. Okay. It was a nice brown sweater. Love gesture. He turns to us. Keep in mind, it's not a full courtroom. They allow 14 people from the public and 20, I think it's 21 people that have press passes, okay? So it's not a lot of people. The press is sitting on the right, the public is sitting on the left, and then the first 3 rows are reserved for friends and family. I'm typically right behind the friends and family, and I have my same seat today. So he turns, he gives a love gesture with his hands with the heart, making eye contact. He's very good at working a room. He's a boss, he's a leader. And listen, this is not what I believe. I'm telling you what he's displaying in real time in the courtroom. He had on a pair of khaki pants. And you know what it was given today? Cliff Huxtable. Okay. He thoroughly engaged with one of his defense attorneys who happens to be a black man, Xavier Donaldson. Okay. And y'all, he looked dead at me. Diddy looked and listen, call me crazy. He looked dead at me for about 4 to 5 seconds, and I had to look away. I looked away because I was like, "Oh, hell no." And I'm being funny and I'm being humorous. Hell, you ain't finna have me hemmed up. And you're not finna have me breaking the law. No, sir. Get somebody else to do it. Anywho, I'm just having a little fun with y'all. Now, I was going to talk about the black female attorney. A couple of months ago, I did a video covering that Diddy and his legal team were specifically looking for a black woman to be on his team. I'm gonna talk about this probably in a different segment. So the family row, let's talk about the family row. Today, it was Miss his mom was there, Miss Janice. She came in, she has that blonde hair. Very petite woman, moves kind of slow. I didn't know that she's like 83, 84. Looks really good. Snatched. You hear me? Snatched. Looks really good for her age. And Justin was there today. Was not there, but Justin was there today. Okay, so that's it. That's all. It was the same guys that normally come in, and they look like protectors of the family, if I can describe it. Now, there's one, he has this very cynical look, tatted up on the neck. Keep that in mind. Okay. He always has this crossbody bag across him. In a courtroom, I know it's empty, but on the street, I would beg to differ. You get my drift? Let's continue. Something different that stood out on the family row. There was an Asian lady, younger Asian lady, long dark hair with a deep wave kind of texture to it. I'm gonna guess, and I could be wrong. I do believe that's his baby mama of the youngest child that he had. I think that's her. That's it. That's all. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I have a funny feeling and a sneaky suspicion that's her. Of course, I covered the outburst in the courtroom prior. That was a hot ass mess. Okay, I covered that on the live. Now there was a lady that was in a courtroom yesterday, a light skinned lady, kind of curvy. You know how it is. You know how thin waist, big booty. Come to find out, I was notified that that's his publicist. Okay, that's his publicist. Um, so it's clear to me that although Diddy is locked up, he still has a team. He still has an active working team outside of his legal team. Okay. You got the publicist, you got the baby mama, you got the men that are protecting the family, you got the drivers, you have all of this security. And then Janice Combs, okay. I want to talk about something that I've noticed about Miss Janice. She seems to be out of it. And if she were younger, I would probably say, girl, what pills are you popping? What pills you popping? Because you coming in here and listen, looking all disoriented, and she could be tired, but she appears to be somewhat subdued, a bit disconnected, a little bit of fogginess. I'm gonna stop there. Let's continue. Now, when I started off the segment, I said that that security guard did a good job. Let's back up. If the truth be told, he did not want to testify. I don't blame him. He did not want to testify. First reason, I think, because he's scared as hell. Who wouldn't be? You get what I'm saying? I'll get into that. Second reason is he accepted a bribe. That's not a good look. Come to find out, y'all, not only did he accept a bribe, but he cut his homeboy out the bribe. Oh, we about to get into the details of it. And I think his homeboy just effed around and found out today my homeboy ain't probably who I think he is. We just might not be that close because you cut me out of 50K. We're going to talk about it, okay? Now, the security guard did such a great job of helping the prosecution, the state, the feds. Diddy turned to Justin and said, God got us. That's how, listen, I don't know, y'all. Oh no, this thing was deep. And the two guys that were there for Diddy actually started passing notes back and forth. That testimony was deep, it was street, and some lines were crossed. Okay. So the first witness, I'm only going to focus on Eddie Garcia today. I'm not talking about nobody else. I'll talk about them tomorrow. Eddie Garcia worked at the Intercontinental Hotel. He was hired there by this Securitas, the security company, right? He was contracted out as a security guard the day that Diddy attacked Cassie. At that time, he swore under oath that today, in today's time, he's 33 years old. But back then, in 2016, he was actually 23 years old. And his role with the company was a finance security guard. Okay. That's it. That's all. Oh, let's get into his responsibilities. So his responsibility was camera observation. And check this out, y'all. Not only was he young and impressionable, but he was a new employee. I'm gonna say he wasn't there longer than 90 days. He was brand spanking New. Imagine that. Let's paint a visual. You brand new on a job. You catch Diddy doing the unthinkable on camera, and now you got that pressure being applied to make that shit go away. I need this video to disappear. Y'all ready to get into it? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All right. All right. So they started with the date of March 5th, 2016. He said he arrived. He arrived to the hotel for his shift, and I think he reported about 2 p.m. that day. He came in, and his security team, his homeboys, the people he worked with, began to brief him about what happened. And they said, "Listen, man, we got called up for a domestic dispute, and you will never guess who it is." He was like, "Who?" They're like, "Diddy, Puff Daddy." He's like, "I know you lying." I'm paraphrasing. I'm trying to give it to you in layman's terms, but I'm also trying to add a little bit of razzle dazzle. So they're bringing him up to speed as they do shift change. And they said, he was fighting this woman. Okay. And they said, okay, you looked at the video. So the defense is asking him, you looked at the video. He said, yes, I did. They actually, no, it was the prosecution. She said, how do you know? Can you point out who was in the video? He said, Mr. Sean Combs. They said, can you tell us, maybe what he's wearing? He pointed to P. Diddy because they just want to make sure you know that you know that you know. And of course, he verified that the team was called up for a domestic dispute. He pointed Puffy out in court today. And he also testified under oath that he's being subpoenaed to testify. So he doesn't want to voluntarily testify. Listen, basically what he's saying is, I'm here because these white folks made me come. But literally, it was given, I'm scared for my damn life. Okay. And he said he's going to tell the truth. He understands that even though he's granted immunity, if he lies, he's no longer protected. As long as he tells the truth, he is good to go. And when I tell you he told the truth, he told everything, even things that were not in his favor. Okay. So he said that the director of security at the time was his homeboy. Write this down. His homeboy was director of security, and his name is Mr. Flores, Israel Flores, and they're still friends to date. And it looks like Mr. Flores may have testified a couple of weeks ago in the Diddy trial. They still talk, they're still friends, and they just talked maybe a week or so ago. At that point, the prosecution was like, hold up, wait a minute. Did y'all talk about this trial? He said, absolutely not. Now, I'm going to say this sidebar. Me personally, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Ain't no way you and your homeboy didn't discuss what he said on the stand or what he told the feds or what his testimony was. I just don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Anywho, let's continue. Let's continue, let's continue, let's continue. So I got my notes. So he goes on to say that, they enter into evidence an exhibit and they say, can you tell us what this is? He verifies that it's an employee sign-in sheet for the Intercontinental. That's what they use for the security team. You sign in, you sign out. If you do overtime, you do all of that. So he signed in that day at 2 p.m. He signed out at 10 p.m. And the reason why his shift was so long is because he worked overtime. Okay. Now, he said he was brought up to speed once he arrived at the hotel by the security team. And they asked him, do you know, as a security guard, where all of the cameras are located? He said, yes, I do. They're located in the lobby, in the common areas, the public areas, and they're also located on each guest floor. And they said, tell us a little bit more about your role. He says, we monitor the security cameras from the security room. There's a security room, and that's kind of where we monitor what's happening in real time on these videos. Woo, child. They played the video again for the jury. They played the video again for all of us in the courtroom. And now I see why the defense objects to the video being shown over and over again, because you do relive it. You do remind the jury of what a monster he is and was on that day. It's a very unfavorable video. It happened. There is no denying it. And it's a very good strategy, in my opinion, on the side of the prosecution. Like, hey, listen, every time we get a chance to show that video, we gonna show that damn video. And they showed that video, period. So they showed the video. They say, could you tell us, where's this camera? Okay, where is this? So he was able to do all of that, right? Now, when they showed that video, it's like a silent hush fell over the courtroom. The security guard admitted that he knew what had happened with Diddy, but he also admitted that the hotel, listen to this, the Intercontinental Hotel, they failed Cassie. Let me tell you why. They did not call law enforcement. They did not call law enforcement. Ain't that some shit? You witness a crime, you witness that girl getting beat like that, and none of you called law enforcement. Now, here's his testimony. He said the reason why law enforcement was not called because he was told by his friends when he came on his shift that no police and medical assistance. Cassie didn't want it. That's his side of the story, that Cassie didn't want medical assistance or she did not want the police to become involved. You know what? That could be true. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter. Because if we were just regular people, let me tell you something. You get a Pookie and a Ray Ray and Lakeisha and Kizzy up in their fight, they calling. We don't get a choice. Regular people don't get a choice. So they should have treated them like they do everybody else if somebody's being taken advantage of and if there is a domestic violence dispute. They drop the ball. Yeah, so from that aspect, that's kind of heartbreaking that money can cause people to turn the other cheek, even if you're the sacrificial lamb. So there was an incident report, right? Now, they started off doing the right thing with the exception of not calling law enforcement, notifying the police, and making sure that Cassie received medical attention. They did write up an incident report, okay? And they saved attachments alongside the incident report. And some of those attachments included still shots, the video file itself from start to finish, and they saved it on the computer. Okay, they saved it on the computer. So he went on about his business. He wasn't even involved. Please follow me. It didn't happen on his shift. It happened before he got there. He was notified during shift change. Okay, he's listening to the gossip. Whoa, for real? Da 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 da. He goes on about his day, and he gets a call at the security desk, maybe about 90 minutes into his shift. So he takes the phone call. He says, "Hello." And there's a woman on the other side of the call that identifies herself as a personal assistant to Mr. Combs. And she identifies herself as Christina Crum, which some of you refer to as KK. So moving forward, we're going to refer to her as KK. We good to go? Yes. So she identifies herself as working as a personal assistant to Mr. Combs, and she told him that she would like to request a copy of the video on the behalf of Mr. Diddy. She explained that Mr. Combs was highly intoxicated that evening and he does not remember, child. He don't remember what happened. And they would feel more comfortable if they could have a copy of the video for him to review. He referred her to his manager and she said, okay. Now watch this. Huh? Ain't no such thing as no in the world of Hollywood and celebrity stardom. Even though she said, okay, sure, I'll talk to your manager. I don't know if she did or not. She got off the phone. But what he did is he testified, and he said an hour later, she was like, he was notified. She pulled up, y'all. An hour later, KK was in the lobby. The prosecution, or was it the defense? I don't remember. He was asked, it was the defense. No, it wasn't. It was the prosecution. Said, can you describe her? Give me a second. I want to make sure. Hold on. It was the prosecution. They asked Eddie Garcia, can you describe her physical appearance? He said, yeah, she was a female. She's white. She stood about 5'8" to 5'9" inches tall, mid 30s. And she made him aware in person. Listen, I'm not here just to be cute. I'm paraphrasing. She didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. I'm leaving him with something. I need that video. Okay. Once again, he reiterated to her, I'm not at liberty to do so. Um, Unfortunately, ma'am, I don't have the power nor the authority to hand that over to you. She left. She left the premises and called maybe an hour later. She called again. And they dispatched a call to the security desk directly to him. It was KK again, and this time after she identified herself as Diddy's personal assistant to Mr. Combs, he said she handed the phone to Diddy. The prosecution said, "What did Mr. Combs say to you?" He said, "Diddy said, 'Do you know who I am?'" He responded, "Yes, I do." They said, "Can you tell us what was it like? Tell us how he sounded." He said Diddy sounded nervous. He was talking fast. Diddy explained to him and pretty much reiterated what KK said is, listen, I had too much to drink. I need that video. I need the video. You seem like a nice guy. Let me tell you something. Anybody getting charged, being accused of RICO, and say, you seem like a nice guy. That would scare the bejesus out of me. You hear me? Because that's the kind of shit they say in the mob. You seem like a really nice guy. Hell, for me, that's code for I sure would hate to hurt you. Now, that's not what he said, Diddy said, but I'm just saying, when I watch the mob movies and they pat you, or they pat you on the shoulder, or they get you on the phone and qualify you as a nice guy, to me, that means they mean business, honey. He said Diddy sounded nervous. He was talking fast. He was highly energetic. Shit, Diddy may have been coming down from a high. He said, once again, he reiterated, I don't have the power, the authority. He said Diddy was stuttering. He continued to talk fast. And then he told Diddy, what I can do is I can escalate this to my general manager, to which they put up an email on the screen. And he did do that. He escalated the concern to a general manager, to a man identified by the name Cho. In the email, he just read, listen, Mr. Combs called. He has requested a meeting with you. He stayed in room number 602. Write that down. Listen, 602. If you ever visit the Intercontinental Hotel, tell them, hell no, don't give me no damn Diddy freak off room. Now you know that's room 602. You heard it here first, okay? He received room 602, and he reiterated in the email, Mr. Diddy wants the video. He also explained in the email that he was contacted by KK, naming her as Diddy's personal assistant, and that they call him many times. And guess what the prosecution asked him? And this is when I knew that man was scared. They said, how many times did he call you? He didn't want to say. He didn't want to be specific. He didn't want to give a number. He kind of paused. Now, let me go back. Eddie Garcia is a big guy. That don't mean nothing when you up against a powerful force. He's young. He's a big guy. He looks older than what he is, and probably because of the weight that's on him, but he's young, okay? He paused. And for me, I'm like, he's scared. He didn't want to say how many times. And they asked, would it be safe to say it was more than a few times? He said, yeah. Follow me. How did he contact you? He said, my personal cell phone. Y'all, I'm done. I'm done. Because what I needed to know in that moment, and I'm sure the jury will probably come back if they haven't already, how in the hell you get my number? Listen, they started calling that at that time, that young man's cell phone, his personal cell phone. Oh, we leaving here with something. They started calling his personal cell phone, and it seemed like they called his ass over and over and over and over again. It kind of reminds me of a coyote, how coyote comes and they take your animals from your backyard. You know, they don't kill them immediately, right? They wear them down. They chase them. They tire them out, and then they attack. They called him over and over. He said he was nervous. He said he was nervous. He was scared. He said Christina would call, KK would call all the time. And at this point, it began to escalate because she would hand the phone to Diddy. And Diddy would reiterate, you seem like a really good guy. I really need a copy of that video. Because, see, that video remaining in circulation can ruin my career. And you do know who I am. He said he reiterated that he did not. Now, this time he got a little bit more specific. He said he told Diddy, listen, I don't have the credentials to access the server. Diddy said, shoot, who does? Who does? And he told Diddy, I don't, but my boss does. Diddy said, get access. Quote unquote, I'ma take care of you. Listen, he did what he was told. He called his supervisor and he said, listen, it's some money on the table. Mr. Combs wants to know your number to make this go away. His boss said, I'll do it for 50K. His boss name is Bill Morano. Okay, at that time, Bill Morano. He goes to Bill. Diddy say, listen, I don't give a damn. You need to let me know who has the power to shake some stuff up around here. He says, I'll go to my boss. Diddy said, get a number for me. He tells the boss, Diddy wants a number. The boss says, tell him I'll do it for 50K. He goes back to Diddy. He called Diddy back that same day. He said, we can make it happen for 50K. Follow me very closely. Are y'all still here? All right. So this is how it went down. They go to the main room, the control room where all of the security footage is housed. You have to have credentials and a particular level of access to enter. So Mr. Morano entered the server room, okay? He was the lookout. His boss, Bill Morano, came out and was like, "It's done." The next day, he called KK. He says, "Listen, it's done." They said, "How did Diddy sound when you called to say we made it happen?" He said, "Diddy sounded happy. He was really elevated in that moment." At that point, when he relayed via phone communication, "Listen, we got it. It's done. It's a done deal. We got the tape. We've transferred it to a USB." He and his Diddy say, "Okay, I need you to meet me at this location." Diddy gave him an address. He goes back to his boss. He said, "Listen, he wants me to come meet him to deliver the package at this address." The boss said, "Bet, this is how we going to run this play. We going to tell the other security guys that you're going out to run an errand." Basically, they lied to the other team about where he was going. He ended up meeting with Diddy in West Hollywood. He said it was a beautiful high rise. When he arrived, he had to wait in the lobby. He waited in the lobby, and then a black dude in his 50s, big, tall black dude, heavy set black dude, who now we know was the bodyguard. Gene, was that you? Mhm. Was that you, Gene Deal? I don't know. They didn't name the bodyguard. They just described the bodyguard. So the bodyguard comes down to the lobby, makes light talk with him. "Hey man, how's it doing?" Dapped him up and say, "Hey, let's go ahead and take a walk and go to the elevator." He said that they enter into the elevator. It's just him and the bodyguard, right? And then the way he begins to describe the experience, I think at that point he knows shit had just got real. He said that's when it hit him. Uh-oh. Oh boy. I think I'm in trouble. He didn't say it in those words. I'm just paraphrasing it back to you, okay? He says they're in the elevator. The bodyguard looks at him and begins to walk him down about Diddy, explaining to him, listen, Mr. Combs is really a good guy. He just had a little hiccup. Y'all, does this not sound like some mob shit? I would have been scared. I would have been like, "Let me out of here. Let me out." But listen, let's talk about the part. They're in the elevator. Now let's get into the apartment in the high rise. Give me 1 second. Okay, so they get off of the elevator and they go to the apartment. They ask him to describe the apartment, and he described like the living area of the apartment. And they said, "Well, how else did everything else look?" He said, "Oh no, I don't know. I didn't even get a chance to get past that point. They stopped me right there." Diddy came out. He said Diddy was smiling from ear to ear. He shook his hand, and he said he was so nervous. He was so nervous that it was visible physically how nervous and scared he was, to the point that Diddy had to say, "Listen, you good? Hold up, man. You good? How you doing? Relax." Diddy showed concern in that moment because I think, I don't know how that feels to be in the presence and have that type of transaction. But what I'm thinking is he probably had a physiological response to the stress. You know how your body goes into fight, flight, or freeze? Shit, I don't think he froze. I think he was shaking in his boots, literally. So he was so nervous and probably shaking so hard at one point, Diddy had to summon out KK, who's his personal assistant, to go get him a cup of tea, y'all. Are y'all still here with me? And Diddy told KK, "Hey, listen, go get him a cup of tea." He said, Diddy let him take a couple of sips from his tea. And then Diddy turned around and asked him directly, "You got it?" He said he handed the USB over to Diddy, and Diddy walked out the room. They said, "How long was he gone out the room?" He said, "I'm going to say a few minutes." Said, "Okay, I'm going to say a few minutes." So he says Diddy comes back after a few minutes and he looks at him. He said, "Is this the only copy?" So he's nervous. He calls Bill Morano just to double check. "Hey, let me double check. Make sure there's no additional copies on the cloud." And he confirmed there are no more copies. Now he's real scared. Like, he said he's scared now. Shit. What are they going to do to me? I'm in here. I've confirmed there's no other copies. So what he tells to Diddy, hold on, wait a minute, man. I'm not worried about the copies of the video. What I'm concerned about is Cassie. I'm concerned that Cassie is going to call the police. He said, Diddy say, hold up, give me a second. Diddy whips out his iPhone, makes a FaceTime call, puts the phone in front of the bodyguard, and who does he see on the screen? It's Cassie. And Diddy told Cassie to let the security guard know that she wanted this to go away, which she reiterated, I want this to go away. I don't want this to see the light of day, and I'm not going to call the police. Y'all, are you there? Are you there? The conversation continues. He's nervous as fuck. Diddy places another requirement on the table in order for him to be able to leave. Diddy told him, listen, I need y'all's ID. Y'all better follow me very closely. He's like, what? Diddy said, oh, I need a copy of your ID. I need your ID, your homeboy ID, and your boss's ID. Okay. There's 3 IDs he requested. So then Diddy was able to get a copy of Eddie Garcia's ID. Keep in mind, Eddie Garcia is a key witness. He's the one that accepted the bribe, but the beatdown did not happen on his shift. The beatdown happened on Flores' shift and Morano. They were the 2 present. Flores and Morano. We got Garcia, we have Flores, we have Morano. He told Diddy, okay, I can take care of that for you. I can give you a copy of my ID. I can give you a copy of Bill's ID. He calls Bill. I don't think it was in that moment. He's like, listen, this guy, listen, he's not kidding. He wants a copy of your ID, my ID, and Flores's ID. Bill said, okay, no problem. But the key witness said there is a problem. Flores is not going to give me a copy of his ID. Are y'all watching? Are y'all listening? He says Flores is not going to go along with that. You know why Flores? Now, he didn't say this, but I'm sitting there. You know why Flores wasn't going to go along with it, y'all? Flores didn't know they were cutting a deal with Diddy for $50K to make the video go away. Please stay close to me right now. Stay close to my hip. So what they did, in place of giving Diddy a copy of Israel Flores's ID, they gave Diddy a copy of another guy named Henry's ID. Wait. In that moment, in that courtroom, Diddy found out that he had just gotten finessed today. I swear to God. In that moment, that was Diddy's first time realizing that they had ran game on him. He was missing one key player that he did not know, and that was Israel Flores. And they gave him Henry Elias's ID instead of Israel Flores. Now, here's where it gets tricky because Eddie Garcia concocted this plan. So not only did he conceal from his homeboy Israel that he was getting a grip off Diddy, he also concealed from Diddy that you ain't really knowing who all is involved in this. And at this point, watch this, I kid you not. At this point, Diddy turned around and looked. He turned around to the back of the courtroom and looked at the tatted up guy in the court. He turned all the way around, looked at him, made eye contact, turned back around, and nodded his head yes, slightly, about 3 to 4 times. I damn near passed out. If that ain't code, I don't know what it is. But let me tell you what I felt like was happening. We missed one. I'm not saying for violence or anything else. When I say we missed one, damn. We thought we had tabs on everybody. Did you pick that up and nodded the head yes? Okay. Eddie Garcia goes on to testify that Diddy had him to sign an NDA. They displayed the NDA on the screen. He stated he was so nervous he didn't read it. And you know what? I don't think it's important anyway because Diddy didn't give him a copy. He signed it. And on the top of the NDA, it says Combs Enterprise. Now that's when it hit me. Shit. Diddy, they might get you for RICO. Because, the irony of it all is that your whole operation is called Combs Enterprise. And I see the strategy that the prosecution is laying out there. And I see also the strategies that the defense is laying out there. But if you are tuned into this case and if you have any ounce of sense, to me, that was a touchdown. They scored big with that. When they put that NDA on there in his biggest day, Combs Enterprise, okay? Now, Eddie said he didn't read the NDA. He was so nervous and scared. The goal was to get out of that motherfucker alive. He said he was shaking in his boots. So there was one small mistake that Puffy made on the NDA. He put the wrong date. The date was dated 2015 of November as opposed to March 2016. Okay. Now, there was some disclaimer and clauses in the NDA, and one of them was a breach of the NDA that should Eddie Garcia breach the NDA, he would have to pay Puffy back $1 million. Y'all, listen, $1 million. Please keep in mind that at this time he was 23 years old, working as a security guard for the Intercontinental Hotel, only making, according to his testimony, $10 to $15 an hour. He says that after he made the call, he got the copy of the IDs. He spoke to Cassie. Diddy left, and Diddy came back in. And this is why I say he just may get hit with a RICO. Diddy came back in, and he had a brown bag. They asked him what was in the brown bag. He said cash and a money counter. They asked him to describe the color. He said it was a cream, like a light white color, close to cream. It was money in there. And Diddy, watch this, y'all. Diddy ran through the money counter. Y'all ready? $100,000. I'm done. I'm done. Wait a minute, Queen Sheba. Hold up. You taking us too fast. The security guard told Diddy that his boss wanted 50K. No, the security guard went to his boss and said, Diddy wants you to make this go away. What's your number? The boss said 50K. Eddie went back to Diddy and got 100K. Y'all, Eddie went back to Diddy and got 100K, didn't disclose to his boss that he got 50K on top of his 50K, and didn't let his homeboy Israel Flores know that he was cutting a deal with Diddy. Watch this. They said, wait a minute. Hold up. You just testified that the going price for the video was 50K. Yes. How did we get to 100K? He said, well, Diddy said that he would take care of me. So he got 50K on top of his boss's 50K. Child, it's a dirty game in these streets, huh? Put the money in the bag. But watch this. He said after the machine counted out 100K, Diddy looked at him and said, you want to count it? He said, no, I trust the machine. Diddy said, let me walk you out. Y'all, at that point, he said his life flashed before his eyes. Diddy said, you want to count it? No, I don't want to count it. I trust the machine, bro. Let me walk you out. He said he was scared. He could barely make it down the elevator, okay? Diddy said, let me walk you out. He tapped him on the back. He paid for his valet ticket. And Diddy told Eddie Garcia, the security officer, hey, don't make any noticeable big purchases. Sign the valet ticket and let him go on his way. They said, what'd you do? What did you do when you got in your car? He said, well, first I sat there. Child, had that been me, I probably would have pooped my pants. You hear me? He said, I sat there and then I drove off and I was scared. And the entire time I was looking in my rear view mirror to make sure that I was not being tailed. Okay. I was not being tailed or followed by anybody in Diddy's camp. Watch this. They say, how did the split of the 100K go? He says, I gave Bill 50K. He gave Henry, I don't know. I'm thinking Henry. He gave Henry 20K and he's claiming that he kept 30K off top. Okay. The video went missing and the incident report went missing. They were no longer on the system or in the any of the software systems at the hotel. So they were all good, or so they thought, that they had done their job. Listen, watch this. Watch this. He got a call on Easter from Diddy. Y'all, Diddy is some kind of wonderful. Diddy reminds me of the Joker. He said Diddy told him, hello, God is good. Happy Easter. I want to follow up on that video. We good? He said, yeah. Nobody noticed it was missing? Nope. Not a word, sir. He said Diddy ended the call by saying, hey, if you ever need anything, let me know. They said, "Did you ever talk to him again?" He said, "Yes. I reached out to Diddy a year later and I asked him for a job via Instagram." So he sent a DM to Diddy via Instagram. And they said, "Okay. Did you receive a response?" He said, "No." Watch this. Later on, they questioned him. The defense, I believe, questioned him. No, he was questioned by the prosecution regarding a text. And y'all, I'm telling you, this man, when I was watching him, I don't think he knew they was about to ask him this in front of Diddy. They said, "We want to talk about a text message and screenshots. Can you tell us a little bit more about the text message that you received from Israel Flores?" He said, "Yeah, he sent me screenshots of the video, still photos of the video of Diddy attacking Cassie." Y'all, everybody was playing everybody. While he thought he was cutting his homeboy out the deal, his homeboy kept a copy of the video. And not only that, sent text messages showing him still shots. He had to testify that today in front of Diddy. They asked him in that moment, "What did you do with the photos that your friend sent to you?" He said, "I deleted them." I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. In that moment, I felt like he was lying. And I felt like he was lying to save his life, just in case the rumors are real about the boogeyman named Diddy. And I ain't going to even lie to you. I ain't mad at him. I would have lied too on that stand today. I felt like he wasn't being honest, but I understand. He said, "I deleted them. I'm going to call bullshit, but I get it, sir." Then they asked him, "Did you meet with law enforcement in 2024? "Yeah, I did." And he lied about his involvement, y'all. When he met with the feds, he didn't let the feds know at first that he took the bribe. Or did he? No, he said he no, I think he lied the first time he talked to the feds. But after he met with the feds, he's claiming that he deleted the photos from his phone of Diddy attacking Cassie. See, my thing is, you fucked up. So then the defense takes the stand to cross-examine him. And by him, I'm talking about Eddie Garcia. Brian Steele is one bad mofo. He's methodical and he slow walked him. And he did his job because I understand, Brian. I understand the prosecution. Let me tell you, y'all, they are running. When I'm telling you they are running the plays like they're supposed to, this is going to be tight. Prosecution did a damn good job. Handed it over to the defense. Now the defense, they're tackled with having to come and clean this shit up, right? For Diddy. Brian still say, "You gotta." So you said when you got the money from Mr. Combs, right? Yeah. He confirmed, yes. 100K, right? Yes. And when you got to your car, you were concerned about being followed. Yes, I was. So you got a pretty good feel for what kind of guy Mr. Combs really is. Would that be accurate? He says yes. But yet, you reach out to him a year later to ask him for a job? Y'all, I was like, whoo, damn, these attorneys on both sides are good. Damn near good. Both of them. I mean, it's like watching a ping pong tournament. He said, "So you know what kind of life, basically. You just said you was scared." And what he was able to lay out to the jury and also to me. Why are all these people claiming to be scared to him, but clamoring and fighting and willing to do anything to have access to him? Now that had me thinking, bro, you did just walk us down like you scared for your life. And I believe you were. I do believe he was. I believe he looked over his shoulder for a number of weeks. But it doesn't make sense that after that, you would follow up a year later saying, "Hey, listen, I want in. I want to be a part of the team." And what that lets me know, and what Mr. Steele did, he said, "Listen, I know you say you were scared, not in those words, but did you realize that there was an exclusion from the non-disclosure? You were excluded from it. You had an exclusion that would get you out of being loyal to not talking about what happened. Did you know you were full within your right to notify law enforcement once you were called in to talk to the feds? You didn't have to lie because right here in the NDA it states that if law enforcement or if you are summoned to court, you can tell them everything. So you were not bound by an NDA to go against Mr. Combs. Did you know that?" Eddie Garcia said, "Well, I didn't know that, and it would be nice if you could explain that to me. He said the only thing you were contractually obligated to do was to notify Mr. Combs in writing that you would be notifying law enforcement or that you would be notifying the court. Did you do that? He said, no, I did not. Brian Steele reminded him that there was nothing in that NDA agreement intended to keep him from telling the truth. Watch this. He said, unless you're law enforcement. Are you law enforcement? Y'all, and drop the fucking mic. When I tell you, when that man said, are you law enforcement? I was like, oh my God. He literally just shook the room by implying that you are an informant or somehow working with the feds. Child, when I tell you, both sides are fighting to win and everybody has come to play ball. And that was a very good way to drop the mic by Brian Steele, because look at this. It don't make no sense for you to be scared for your life or implying that you're scared for your life. And then you try to penetrate his circle a year later. Who sent you? So what I walked away with was a huge question mark, and it's none of my business, right? It don't make matter to me. How long, if it's true, has the feds gone undercover to try to take Diddy down? Like, this stuff is crazy to me, okay? The prosecution was shook after that. They had to come back to try to clean up, to make sure that we understood, wait a minute. During the first time that Mr. Garcia met with the feds in whenever he met. Oh, in 2016, he was not an informant. Now, they didn't use those words. You got to read between the lines. It was a lot, but it was good. This is good. And each side is literally fighting for their lives. That's it. That's all. What are your thoughts?